This was something that I didn't choose mystery for, but I've been a little bit delighted by, which is that I have been at companies, I worked at a financial firm, for example, that are, pretty locked down on their adoption of new technologies. So very weary of cloud-based software, even though cloud-based is actually quite secure, and in some cases more secure than on-prem these days. But there's a historical reluctance there, and so I actually hadn't used Figma until I got to Mystery, which is probably a little bit goofy to hear from somebody who's a somewhat experienced designer. But yeah, so DesignWays, we use Figma for a bunch of stuff. For collaboration, we have Google. Like Google Docs that we use. For most of our written stuff, we tend to use Notion, which is pretty great. This is not sponsored, by the way. Although, actually, I should mention, I believe Notion is our Notion's founders are invested in Mystery. I should probably disclose that. For design work, or I'd say for UI design work, a lot of stuff in Figma. For non-screen-based things, we've also used Figma as well. I use Affinity for sort of more illustration type stuff, which is basically like a cheaper equivalent of Adobe Creative Suite. Um, Not that we can't afford Adobe Creative Suite. I just like to be frugal about it. That's kind of more my personal choice. um, and then for collaboration, we use Notion for a lot of our documentation. We use Linear for dev tracking and sprint planning. And then we use Slack for a lot of our day-to-day async communications, and then various video chat services for day-to-day communication. I would say probably for any sort of more structured things, especially external facing, we tend to use Zoom. And we use Zoom for most, but not all, of our customer facing experiences. And I think that kind of covers our overall toolkit. The procurement process for new tools is also like super easy. Basically, like we do a pretty basic security review. We tend to put a lot of trust in employees rather than have a lot of gatekeeping processes. And that may change as we grow. But for example, when I decided to come on board and get Affinity to do some print work, we just like bought it and expensed it, and we didn't have to go through like a whole IT thing.